friends, Amanda here. Welcome back to Handmade No Hallmark. Today I've got this fun ink smushed background featuring some really cute images from Hello Bluebird. I really hope you enjoy this card, so let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get my background done first, so I had an opportunity to dry completely. I'm working with some distressed Oxide inks here. I've got Salty Ocean, Tumbled Glass, and Faded Jeans. And I really wanted to go for like a really haphazard look, and my little buddy came in to see what I was up to. And I haven't done ink smushing in like a really long time, and I had this idea to do that with this Sea Friends stamp set from Hello Bluebird. I love all the images in this, and I have one little boy who absolutely loves anything to do with the ocean. So when he saw this stamp set, he was just tickled. He loved it so much. And so I just had to make a card with it. And with the new Little Mermaid movie coming out, I just felt like it was appropriate to create my own Little Mermaid card. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking some plastic here. This is just some random plastic I found in my craft stash. I like to keep some around for, shaker cards, those sorts of things. And I've got some Canson XL watercolor paper, and I'm just putting the distress ink on top of this plastic palette I have, and I'm just wetting it down really well and picking it up with that plastic and just smushing it down onto the cardstock. Now I've seen where people have taken the whole cardstock and smushed it onto the wet surface, but I wanted a little bit more control and placement of where I wanted things to go, and so I decided to do it with the plastic. There's multiple ways to do ink smushing. There's lots of videos out there on it, but I really like this version or this technique style because you have, again, a little bit more control on where you want to place things. And I love that you get lots of like free-flowing speckles, and it really looks splattery without having to actually splatter your cardstock. And I think it goes well with the whole ocean theme. Again, I did a card like this years ago with a Lawn Fawn set. I think it was one of their, I think it was like their Unbelievable one. It was the one that had like a giant octopus in it or something. Anyway, so I kind of got the idea stemmed from that one card I made years ago. And again, these images are just so cute. I have lots of ideas with them. And again, my little boy loves this set so much, so I have to create a card with the narwhal just for him because he, again, loves anything to do with the ocean. So again, I'm just going through with these 3 colors of Oxide inks and just picking up that ink and smushing it down on top of my cardstock here. And again, in between each of these applications of ink, I'm going in and just hitting it lightly with my heat gun just to, dry the layers in between so they don't necessarily mix together. I want them to kind of sit on top of each other so you can see all of the colors. And I love the way that that turned out. And I'm going to set it off to the side to dry. And sorry if you hear my dog outside barking. He's barking at the kids outside playing. Once I had this panel mostly dry, I wanted to go in and stamp some fish in the background. So the stamp set comes with like this little school of fish, and I really wanted to kind of add some in the background to really give the effect of being under the water. And I decided to use the same colors that I used for the background. So I'm using those same Distress Oxide inks to stamp those down. I easily could have used the new dye inks that I have, but I really wanted the colors to match and go with it, and I wasn't worried about if they blended in and you couldn't see them or they weren't stamped perfectly. I really wanted it to be kind of organic and fun because they're not really the focus of the card. They're just more a part of the background scene. And again, this is one of my favorite ways to kind of add some interest and depth into a card, is adding some interest to the background scene, just to create the idea or the illusion that they're underwater. Get this last grouping of fish stamped down. And I actually used Speckeld Egg. I thought it was Salty Ocean, but it was Speckeld Egg, which I think is a really nice green color, or a nice bluey green color. Now that I have that all done, I'm going to get my station all cleaned off here so that I can stamp my images. I'm using some Simon Says 110-pound cardstock because I do plan on using my Copic markers to color on all of my images. And I really loved this particular mermaid with her hair kind of all flowing up and like she's sitting on the bottom of the ocean. I really thought it was cute, and I just had to do the turtle. He is so sweet. I love it so much. And I'm using some Copic friendly ink. I'm using some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink to stamp down my images. And there's so many in this set, and there is another set that Hello Bluebird does that it's all ocean creatures, so lots of fish and other sea creatures. I thought about getting to really help build a scene. I think it would be fun to do like a slimline card, starting at the bottom, you know, with being on like the ocean floor and working your way up to the top to where like it's kind of like a beach scene. I think that'd be really cute. Next, I'm going to get my card base ready while everything has an opportunity to sit and dry before I get to coloring, because I did stamp it a couple of times and I didn't want to smear the ink with my Copic markers. And I really wanted to use some colored cardstock for my card base. This is just from my stash. I'm not 100% sure which company it is. I have kind of all of my colored cardstock together, but I wanted to stamp on the inside, and I am going to use my MFT inks in Summer Splash. I felt like this was a really pretty blue color, and I thought about stamping a greeting on the inside, but I decided just to leave it because I'm going to put a greeting on the outside. That could be really generic. This could be a thank you card, a birthday card, thinking of you, any of those things. So I just decided to stamp a couple of images down on the bottom. So I chose the same mermaid image, and I chose one of the little fish instead. I felt like it looked like Flounder from The Little Mermaid, which I thought was super cute. And I just think it's such a sweet image. All of Hello Bluebird's artists, or whoever draws all of these, is so talented. I think they're all just super sweet images. And the Summer Splash, these inks stamp beautifully. I really wanted to test how well they would ink up and stamp with lined images and text. Perfect. They worked wonderful. My next test with these new inks is ink blending. I'm just trying to think of an idea. So I'm going to get right into my coloring here. All of the colors will be on the screen, and I'll also list them in the description below. I'm going to put on some music for you to enjoy while I'm coloring, and once I'm all finished, we'll come back and put this card together. once I was finished with all of my coloring, I wanted to go in with my white Jelly Roll pen and add some highlights and dots. This is completely optional. I really feel like it brings the images to life, gives them a little bit more, I don't know, just gives them a bit more something. Not so flat, gives them some interest, and just jazzes them up a little bit. This again is completely optional. You don't have to do any of this. It's just what I think looks great with any of the Hello Bluebird images. I do this with almost every Hello Bluebird card that I have made. I always add these sweet little dots and highlights. Again, personal preference, just what I like. And then I'm also going to go in with a Stardust glitter pen and add some shine and sparkle as well. Again, this is a fun, whimsical sea life card. I really felt like some sparkle could do with it. And I added some in her hair, which I felt was really fun and cute. Adds lots of shine and sparkle. Once I was happy with everything, I used all of the coordinating dies to cut out all of these images. Added just one more highlight to her little rosy cheeks and to her top there. And now that I have everything cut out, I'm going to add everything to the card. So I'm going to glue down my background piece. I'm using quite a bit of glue on the back of this because it did warp just a tiny bit with all of the ink that's on there. So I added it to my card base after I had trimmed it down with an A2 Stitch Stacks dies from MFT. And I'm just going to set it underneath my MISTI just to help hold it down while I add one final thing to my images. I'm going in with my black Sakura glaze pen and adding highlights to their eyes. Again, this is another way that I like to kind of brighten their eyes up and make them look really cute. Super cute. I think this would be fun to create little magnets as well with these. Any of these larger images, I have talked about creating magnets, and it is just a fun thing to do. And I do plan on creating a video for you guys on how I create magnets with all of these images. Super easy, and I think it's going to be a really fun card. And I do apologize that I was zoomed in really close because I totally forgot to zoom back out after I had added the detail in there. But I'm just arranging my images so I can stamp down my greeting. And I'm using a greeting from the same stamp set. It says, "Our friendship is deeper than the ocean." And I am going in with another one of my MFT inks in tropical teal, which I think is a really pretty color as well. Again, stamped wonderfully. No issues with these inks stamping. They are super, super juicy. So I have to learn not to like tap the ink pad really hard. I just barely have to tap it and the ink comes out really nicely. I just have to train myself not to overly stamp the images. Here I remembered I needed to zoom back out. Again, going in with that tropical teal color. Beautiful blue color, love it. And I just tested it before I stamped it to make sure that I liked the color because I didn't want to stamp on my card and not like it, but it does. It looks really nice, really crisp, clean, really, again, really great stamp, really great inks, work beautifully. Get that stamped down. I was really nervous about stamping on this because I didn't want to have to redo it, but I didn't want to have another banner or anything going across it. I really wanted it to be really simple at the top, but just enough. Go ahead and get that put away. And I'm going to go in and get all of my images adhered down to my card. So I'm going to adhere all of kind of like the accessory images down nice and flat. And then the two main images, the turtle and the mermaid, I'm going to pop up with some scrapbook adhesive 3M foam squares. I really love popping these up. Adds, really brings them to the foreground and, really makes them the focus of the card. I probably could have added a couple more fish here and there, but I really like the idea of the focal point of the card being kind of down here in the corner, and it kind of fades off into the top part of the card. I kind of struggled a little bit on where to put the little starfish, but I like the placement of it there kind of behind her back elbow. Really kind of grounds her in that space. Again, add some adhesive to my little turtle, pop him up, and I think he's so cute. I love this turtle so much. And I added some bubbles in there as well. And I'm going to go in, these are the Gina K clay hearts. This is like their mixed bag of colors. And I wanted to add a little heart there in the blue. Again, just to, you know, add something else to it. And then I'm going to go in with a Wink of Stella glitter brush pen and add a little bit of shine to the bubbles. And again, a little bit more sparkle to each of my images, because you can never have enough sparkle. And it's a mermaid card. Why not? And then I'm finally going to go in with some Morning Dew crystal drops and cover the bubbles and add a few droplets in the background. Again, just to add some interest and maybe some more bubbles. And that will finish up this card for today. I really hope you enjoyed this ink smushed card featuring some really cute images from Hello Bluebird. If you liked the card, please consider hitting the like button. It lets YouTube know you're enjoying all of my content, and consider hitting the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.
On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos at my YouTube channel.